Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. This is chapter 1 in our. This is to understand weightlifting. Okay. Now, it's important that we talk about weightlifting. People tend to think that weightlifting is very, very similar in terms of training methodology to powerlifting. They think it's similar in terms of training and methodology to Wl'ing. They think it's similar to any other sport. No, I'm sorry, no. Weightlifting is a sport of its own. It needs to be respected like that. It's not an extension of whatever other thing you're doing, unless of course you're using weightlifting as an accessory movement. For example, you're a powerlifter and you want to get your finishing faster, more powerful above the knee, so you can use some hang power cleans, you can use some hang snatches as an extension. Okay, so that's fine. But weightlifting on its own, it's not any extension. It's a sport of its own. It needs to be treated as that. It needs to be respected like that. What I mean by this, weightlifting is not to be viewed like how you would view bodybuilding, view CrossFit, how you would view powerlifting, just because it involves a barbell. That's not true, okay? Weightlifting is a lot more similar to gymnastics, to shot put, to sprinting, to javelin throwing, things like that, okay? It's a sport of its own. It's a skill. It needs to be trained as a skill of its own, which means you cannot expect to do your programming based around strength alone or this power alone. You can't do that. You can at first in general preparation phases, you can, but then when you talk about specific loading phases, you cannot do that anymore. You need to be more specific to what your sport requires, which is to snatch, to clean and jerk, to pull, to squat, to push press, to push jerk, to snatch balance, things like that. Okay? Now, a second thing. You need to understand that weightlifting is to exhibit maximum transfer of force. Okay? This transference of force is then calculated by an apparatus that we call a barbell. Okay, so how many kilograms on the barbell means how efficient you are, how effective you are in creating that proper movement to generate force into the barbell and getting yourself under the barbell to catch it and again overhead. Okay, so the kilograms on the barbell, this is important to understand, because the kilograms on the barbell is not what you're chasing. The kilograms on the barbell is the demonstration of how effective your movement is. Okay, so when we talk about this, right, demonstration of how effective your movement is, a lot of people say this technique, that technique, what Chinese technique, Russian technique, pull, catapult, whatever, triple extension, all this little funky little stuff. Okay, now that comes back to the human nature of trying to be different, trying to find differences amongst themselves. Okay, that's not what we look at. What we look at is how can we transfer maximum force via our own movement efficiency into the barbell. So the barbell, how many kilograms on the barbell, demonstrates how effective we are. Okay, the third thing, maximum transfer of force is created when the body coordinates itself correctly into that particular direction that you want it to go. Might have to change this. I'll do this later. Okay, so what I mean by this is you cannot rush when you're doing weightlifting movements. The snatch, clean and jerk cannot be rushed. Why? Rushing is what you do when you are losing balance. It's like when you're running, you're jogging, then you trip on something, then you rush. You rush to get yourself back into balance. It's necessary, but is it efficient? No, it's not. Flow, you need to flow. You need to be able to transfer force, catch force, transfer force, catch force, aka flow. Okay. Another reason that you need to make sure that your direction is coordinated well is because if you ever had a car that broke down and you have a friend, a couple of friends, and you're in the back of the car and you guys are pushing the car, right? You're all gonna have to go 1, 2, push, 1, 2, push. Try pushing that car when it goes 1, 2, and somebody pushes at 2, somebody pushes at 1, somebody pushes at push. You're not going to get efficient movement. Yeah, the car might roll a little bit, but it's not going to roll as much as it would if you were all moving together. Hold, push. Okay, so maximum transfer of force is created when the body coordinates correctly into a proper direction. That's what I mean by it. Everything must be done based on athlete's natural tempo. What the heck does this mean? Now, every single athlete has their own tempo of movement. For example, guys like you'd categorize guys who are really explosive, fast under, such as guys as Zlatan Vanev, Valentin Christov, Oleg Chen, Liao Hui. I would say even got what's his name? Most of Romanian guys and Moldovan guys, athletes. Oh, sorry, misspelled Moldovia. What the? Moldova's athletes, right? A lot of these guys are really explosive, like boom, drop on really fast. That's their tempo. I suppose it's got something to do with how they train as well. So that's their tempo. Okay, second one. Then you have the kind of guys that are a bit more pullers. Okay, you might want to name them pullers, such as guys like Li Xiaojun. No, hold on, Li Xiaojun is not. Li Xiaojun is what I call the perfect freak of nature. These guys are guys like Ilya Ilin, Li Xiaojun. I categorize the guy Long Qingqian in the 56 kilogram 08 winner. He's one of the freak of natures. The recent Russian boys are really good, the younger ones. Most of the younger pullers nowadays, what's his name? Alexander Ivanov? Yeah. Oh man, Alexander Ivanov is more of a puller if you ask me. Yeah, Alexander Ivanov. Who else are pullers? Let me think. Right off the bat. Oh, right, the Malaysian athlete, Amirul Ibrahim. Oh yeah, I'd even put that guy. What's his name? The North Korean guy. Dude, yeah, that guy. He's also a puller in my eyes. That's his tempo. That's her tempo. That girl, what's that girl's name? That 69 kilogram girl back in the 08 Olympics, I think she won. That one, she's an freak of nature. Okay, so every single person is going to be, what most weightlifting athletes will be one of these three. You could be explosive drop under guys or girls. You could be those pullers that pull a little bit longer, but the bar is really high. That's your tempo. And then you get the freak of natures where they like really boom, explosive drop right under the bar, boom, really freaky fast guys. Those ones that you blink and then whoop under the bar. These are really springy guys. They're the very springy kinds. So they look like boom, they're going up, and all of a sudden they're right down there. So you have to make sure that the way you move is based on your natural tempo, or something that you slowly develop. In fact, I would say, right, that 85 kilogram what's his name? Adrian Zelinsky used to look like a puller. Now he looks like a perfect freak of nature. So these kind of things, they build as you go along in your technique. You cannot rush them. This is why I don't like it when people say, I watched this athlete's video and I try to copy him. It doesn't work like that. It's a little bit different. You need to make sure that you're actually capable of copying that particular athlete. Okay, so that's why you see sometimes these athletes, they rush the movement, and the Chinese coaches just get so upset with whatever they're doing. They're like, oh, don't rush. Okay, calm down, pull finish, make sure all the movements are completed, done. Well, they always say 1 May, which is look good, sort of, you know. So you want to finish the movement and make it 1 May, which is that it looks really nice, everything's solid, everything's proper. So for something to be done properly, you cannot rush. Simple as that. Okay, so this is chapter 1 of our mentorship course. Okay, chapter 1, you want to understand what weightlifting actually is first. from this little bit here, I think you will have some information to help you further understand what weightlifting actually is and why we do what we do in weightlifting.